How many of you like to live the 100 or more? How about living well and healthy? Let us promote well being in older adults. The art of aging well is to live better, not just longer. There are many who are turning 60 each day. When we think of aging, what does it mean to grow older and the purpose of it? And what are the challenges growing older? And how to improve ourselves? We are happy to have Dr. Dominic Benjamin from Bangalore Baptist Hospital in our studio, who is an aging and diabetic specialist and a geriatrician. He also runs an Age Well clinic. Doctor, we'll talk about memory loss because most of the people come across this issue. They face problems with memory loss. So sometimes I forget things. So do you think I'm also growing older when I?
No, not really. No, I think you're very young, and I hope you stay young that way. Memory is a huge challenge, and I am Dominic only because of my memory. If I take away my memory, I don't know who I am. There's a condition called dementia, which sort of affects your memory. As Mark Twain famously said, is aging is nothing is mind over matter, and if you don't mind, it just doesn't matter. And once your mind is not working, when I say your memory is not working, then everything starts falling apart. And the master organ is your brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as humans, we are privileged to have memory, and the memory has got a lot of function. And once you lose memory, you lose all the other things, and it's a very bad prognostic sign. It's a harbinger of a lot of trouble to come.
Yeah.
So that's why looking after your memory is so very important. And so why do people lose memory is because if they had high blood pressure or they had a diabetes which is not controlled,
Okay.
the blood vessels supplying the memory part of the brain get rusted, and there is a
Okay.
clogging of the arteries, and so what happens, the memory cells die.
Okay.
Memory cells are the most active cells, and they need a lot of energy, and you can't deprive them of energy because they die straight away.
Okay.
And also, I see this with a lot of people, like suppose, say that you're an accountant, you're brilliant with maths, okay, and you continue through your life, okay, but if I ask you a moral question, you'll really struggle because you never encountered a moral question.
Yeah.
Or if I ask you to do some sequential learning, or strategic planning, or abstract thinking, you'll be very rusted.
Yeah.
The rule in nature is that anything that is not used get rusted. Anything that's stagnant gets infected. Be it water, be it your saliva, be it bile, or be it urine, gets infected if it's stagnant. Anything that's not used get rusted. So if you don't use your mathematical circuits, your navigation circuits, your abstract thinking circuits, your judgment circuits, your sequential learning circuits, it gets rusted.
Okay.
And once it gets rusted, you can't undo it. Okay.
Okay.
So there are a lot of simple ways to jog your memory. And memory, a lot of people have problem with memory because they have poor attention. So, and Mary, where did you come from? Where do you live in Bangalore?
I'm from Indranagar.
How many people did you see this morning when you're coming to this place?
Coming to this place? A lot of people on the
So
way.
why didn't your brain record it?
Because there are so many. I did not count them.
No, but why didn't your brain record it?
Maybe I did not concentrate much or...
Well, your brain will only record if you tell it to.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you need 4 things for memory. One is your visual stimulus. Suppose you might have met an old friend. You would have said, oh, you know what, today I met my old friend.
Yeah.
Why? Because you took note of her, you registered in your brain. Only when you register, you retrieve. Yeah, so you need to have a stimulus, either audio stimulus or visual stimulus, and then you pay attention to it, and then you register it, only then you can retrieve it. That's why a lot of children who have problem with attention, they don't do well at school because they can't register anything. Yeah. So I think a lot of times, why do I forget my wallet? Because I don't tell my brain where I keep my wallet. If you don't tell your brain doesn't record. Just imagine if brain were to record everything what I do throughout the day. By 10 years, my hardware is fully packed. Do you know what I mean? So you can't cope with so much of information. So brain will only record what is important. Suppose this morning when you saw a cow in a center of a road, then you thought, okay, it's something weird. I saw a cow in a center of MG road. I didn't expect. So you also notice and register something that's unusual. And you saw a beautiful sky today, you would say, oh, I registered today. So something unusual, your brain automatically register. But something usual, your brain will not register until you tell your brain to register. So a lot of them have a problem with attention.
Okay.
And at then they forget the keys, they forget the wallets. And so it's more often to do attention, they sort of thing. Yeah.
So, do they have to do any practice or exercise to improve it as they grow older? Because
Yes, I mean, suppose take your example that you're in mathematics, you're an accountant, you're doing well. So, but after 40 years, you should do some sort of a sorting out a puzzle or drawing something, listening to a moral debate, and also making sure that you go to a walk in different ways, take different streets. So it activates your navigation circuit. So you need to keep all your circuits active. So that is the most important thing. People who are say accountant. I don't know why we picked an accountant. There, if you're an accountant, you're more concerned about all the accountancy bit of it, but you don't give much of importance to other things which are so very important. So it's very important that you use all the faculties what God has given you. That's number one. Number two, you need to sleep well.
yeah,
The most important thing. We know now we can predict people developing memory loss if they don't sleep well. We have a big problem among the younger people. Their day and nights are very different. They wake up till 12, 12:30, 1. I don't know what's happening. We not only grow in sleep, we not only rest in sleep, we also grow in sleep. What do I mean by that? Your brain needs that rest to detoxify, detox all the garbage that's in the brain. And also 4 hormones are secreted early hours of the morning if you're in bed for 6 hours.
oh,
So those hormones regulate your memory, regulate your blood pressure, regulate your sugar.
okay,
So now you may wonder, why are all these young boys have food belly? They eat erratically. If you don't sleep well, you're very moody, you're very snappy, you're not concentrating, So I think the good old adage of early to bed and early to rise is profoundly scientific.
true.
So early to bed, what do I mean by that? 9:30, 10, you should be done with it. By 5:30, you should be up. But I'm talking to a crowd which will totally disagree with me there. Yeah, that's what it is. But the scientific evidence says that. But I see a lot of younger people, and especially in certain sectors of the thing where they work for a different country's timing, it's a huge challenge. So memory is a big problem. So sleep should be good. You should use all your circuits. And also any medical condition can make your memory worse, like diabetes, hypertension. Okay, so those sort of things. And people who are very who snore a lot. In good old days, we thought if you snore, it's a good sleep, but we know it's a horrible sleep because that's not a good sleep at all. Your brain is deprived of oxygen, so you may have memory problems. And there's something called Alzheimer's dementia, where for some reason, either because of genetics, a whole lot of reasons, your brain cells starts getting replaced with cells that are not good, the scarring of the cells, and they start losing memory. So it's not a very pleasant thing. It's a horrible thing to lose memory.
Okay.
Just imagine that I don't know who I am. I forget all the basic things. And also, I won't know how to toilet, when to brush my teeth. They won't even ask for food. So they become lonely. They become withdrawn, and you know what? They almost become, they lose their dignity.
Yeah.
So it's a horrible condition to be in. But I think the most important thing is to recognize it, to prevent it, and to keep your memory active. So what is it you and I can do in real life? When you're walking, just try to remember the car number and tell it to you again after 5 minutes. That's number one. Always tell yourself that what I read this morning. Suppose I tell a lot of the older adults that you watch news which is not interesting at all. Anyway, they watch it, but you give a comprehensive summary to your wife. About what you learned. So making that comprehension is a very hard task. Or I tell children to call the parents and give me a rundown of all you did. The parents feel so happy. Oh, my son is so interested to know what I'm doing, So give a rundown. So that really helps them to jog the memory. So a lot of ways that you could jog the memory.
Okay.
But you need to be more proactive, more creative in doing things. And the ladies, they watch all the soaps and serials. I tell them to summarize everything and give a talk to the husband. In that way, they both talk to one another. They tell about one another. They also talk about the judgments. I'll ask them, what do you think about what happened in that serial? Was it a good thing? Is it something that we believe in? Has the times changed? That opens up a new area about thinking, And also we know that your memory is not stored in one part of the brain. It's stored in a couple of areas of the brain. So I think we are facing a lot of challenges because of memory. Younger people are not doing well in school because of poor sleep, memory, and a lot of anxiety. Anxiety makes your memory worse. If you're anxious, you forget where you kept the keys. So you don't pay enough attention. There's something called attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD. I don't know if you heard of in children, where they're so fast that they don't spend time on things and they don't learn and capture things. So I think it's the same way. Attention is very, very important to sort of focus on it and reflect on it. The other way to jog your memory is to mull over it. Like rumination, just go on it. Then it reinforces the memory. The more times the track gets oiled, the more stronger it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's where you need to sort of think. So yeah,
Practice and exercise. And
yeah. And some memories are bad. Like visit to dentist is never a happy thing because you know that you had a previous memory of having a horrible tooth thing. So I think that jogs the memory, saying that, oh my God, it's horrible. It's going to be horrible. That's a bad bit of memory, but memory is a very good thing. But unfortunately,